Hello friends, welcome to English 1A. My name is Trevor Tolliver and I will be your professor during this really unusual semester. And I say unusual because for most of your professors, including me, this is the first time we've ever done an entire year online like this. And I know a lot of you, maybe this is a new way of approaching education you've never done before and you're maybe nervous about it. It's okay. If you're patient with me, I'll be patient with you, and we will get the job done. We're going to be just fine. In fact, I am very excited to be working with you. And I'm coming at you not quite live from my home office and my wall of curiosities. I gave you a little tour of where we are right now. And as you can see, I love scary movies. I love scary stories. And that is the world that we are going to be moving through the next 16 weeks. By the way, just so you know, my home office is upstairs where there is almost no air conditioning. And so if by the end of this video I am soaking wet, that's the reason why it is so hot in here and I'm going to die. All of the information you need is on the syllabus, which of course you will find there on Canvas. And you can read that on your own time. There's plenty of details in it. But I do want to spend this little meet and greet time just to go over sort of the main ideas, the main topics, and what you can expect from me and what you can expect from you over the course of the next 16 weeks or so. I really have two main goals for you. We have two goals that we are going to work through this semester. And the first is I want to make you not just a better writer, but I want you to be a more confident writer. I want you to feel good about what you're doing. Even if English is not your first language, and even if you are a native speaker and maybe English was not your best subject or you're nervous about taking a class like this one, it's okay. I'm going to get you through this because good writing doesn't require magic. You don't need to have some talent for writing that you're just naturally born with. It's a set of skills and strategies and tips that you follow in order to create a really solid piece of writing. I come from the school of thought that says anyone can do this if you practice enough and try hard enough and just follow the basic set of rules. I think you'll be surprised how strong your essays can be. Even if you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself right now, even if you're really nervous about writing, I'm going to make it nearly impossible for you to fail. I'm going to give you outlines, I'm going to give you skeletons, I'm going to give you sample projects so that you can see what a completed project should look like and sound like. Some of my colleagues like to make writing seem very difficult for students, and they'll even scare students on day one, and I don't like that. I don't take that approach at all. I'm going to coach you through this. I'm going to guide you through this the best we can under these circumstances, but I think you're going to find you're going to be okay. I'm going to make it really easy to put the dots as closely together as possible so you can come up with a clear, cogent, and even scholarly piece of writing that you can be proud of. My second main goal for you is to make you a stronger reader. And this semester we're going to read a series of essays and articles. We're going to read some short stories. You're going to read 3 novels, and all of that might sound very overwhelming to you right now, but don't worry. We're spacing it out quite a bit. I have found writing that I don't think is very dry or dull. It's very approachable, it's very reader-friendly, and I've had students tell me at the end of a semester how surprised they were that they were able to get everything done. They were able to get the job done without a sweat, and those were their words. And at first I thought that maybe I'm not challenging them enough, and that's not what they said. They didn't say there wasn't a challenge in this course, because you'll see some built-in challenges here. But I think I've structured it in such a way and given you some materials that you're going to find are very doable. You'll be able to manage them pretty easily, I hope. And if not, talk to me and we will work our way through it. So even if you're not the most confident reader and reading isn't your favorite thing to do, I'm going to have you start reading like a professor this semester. I am going to give you 6 different essays, and each of these essays is going to give you a different pair of glasses. And these glasses, we're going to call them literary theories. And each pair of glasses you put on is going to show you something completely different from the pair you had on before. Through these glasses, you are going to learn to build and interpret such themes as literature, faith, culture, sexuality, human behavior, all the big classic themes that we tend to see through all the big classic pieces of literature, we're still going to talk about, but we're going to do it in a more universal and approachable theme of horror stories, which more people tend to like than maybe some literature from the 1600s. And don't get me wrong, behind me on my bookshelf I have books by Shakespeare and Chaucer. I have the classic guys that you read about like Hemingway and Faulkner and Steinbeck and all of them, and they're all fine and good. But I prefer the darker roads. I like the cemeteries and the haunted houses, the crazy killers and the ghosts and the demons and all the fun stuff, all the good stuff. And we will still be able to have adult conversations and still take a look at some very serious and complex themes in our scary stories. I want to tell you something about literary theory, but I don't want you to panic, all right? Just hear me out here. This semester, I'm going to treat you like English majors. I know most of you are not. Maybe none of you are. That's okay. What I mean is I'm going to teach you some of the jargon, some of the inside language of my field to help you read the way your professors read something, the way they pick it apart to find symbols and meaning, all kinds of different symbols and all kinds of different meanings. This is the type of course I took when I was in graduate school. I was working toward my master's, and this is where I first learned this stuff. Still, don't panic. Don't panic. I don't want to lose you right now. All that literary theory really asks us to do boils down to just 2 really big global questions. What does this thing mean? And what does this thing do? I mean, it really is as simple as that. You know, if you took a biology class, you would learn about a concept from the book, and then you might go to class and dissect a frog or something just so you can see those concepts in real life, see what they look like. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to read about literary theory, and then we're going to take those ideas and we're going to apply it to our books and our stories. We're going to dissect them the same way we would dissect a frog, just so we can see what all those parts look like when they're working together, how they give life to a story. So I'm very excited about bringing this higher level of learning down to you and give you a very specific set of critical thinking and give you the edge over other students taking other 1A classes. I wish I had learned this stuff when I was a brand new student to college, the way a lot of you probably are, because knowing it gives you a chance to see something in a completely different way. And I wish I had had those set of skills as a brand new student, because you're going to see they're going to benefit you in all kinds of ways. You don't have to be an English major to get the most out of this kind of thinking. The number 1 most important benefit is theory helps you figure out a lot about yourself and how you fit into the world and how you view that world around you. Secondly, someday some of you might become parents if some of you aren't parents already. And as you know, as a parent, you become your child's first teacher. And you want to make sure that you are a well-rounded adult, that you have a lot of wisdom there that you can pass down onto your children and how they view the world. The third really important reason to know theory in these different pairs of glasses is it helps you process information. So when you watch the news, you can help weed out what's probably fake versus what's probably accurate by taking a step back and looking at the total picture. Where is this news coming from? Who benefits from it? What is the message of it? Theory also helps you become a more informed voter. By being able to see different sides of the same issue, you can make a more informed decision about who you decide you want to support as a candidate in whatever campaign. Not only does it help you become a better voter, it helps you become a smarter consumer. But really, and most importantly, I think, by allowing yourself to put on these different pairs of glasses, it's sort of like walking in someone else's shoes for a mile, right? You get to experience their way of life. You get to see things in a way that maybe you've never seen things before. And that can't help but make you a more empathetic human being, just sort of a better all-around global citizen. And by gaining this insight now, by getting access to this information that I didn't get till I was almost done with my entire college career, this puts you at a distinct advantage for you to be able to see things rising up to the surface that maybe your colleagues wouldn't see right now in their spot in their college career. So essentially, I'm going to be giving you a very specific skill set that your professors use every day, no matter what field that they are working in. So those are my two big goals. We're going to strengthen your writing, and we're going to strengthen your reading, and we're going to do it in a way that is approachable, that I think in some ways is going to be quite simple, and hopefully maybe even fun. I definitely tried hard to pick some stories that I think you might really like. In fact, let me show you what those are. You will find all of the books listed on your syllabus, but just so you get a sense of what they are, we are going to be reading Psycho by Robert Bloch, which of course was turned into the famous Alfred Hitchcock movie. The second book will be Come Closer by Sarah Gran. And last, but certainly not least, this is probably my favorite of the bunch, we will be ending the semester with Peter Benchley's classic Jaws. You can see these books, they're not big books. They're skinny little books. Once you get them and see them, you're going to see that they are very easy reads. These were all written in the mid to late 20th century and early 2000s for Come Closer. Very, very reader friendly. Don't worry, not too much of a challenge here. You have plenty of time to buy these books. We're not going to need them until I think it's week 5, something like that, week 4 or 5. So you have time to order them and get them to you. If you prefer to read them on a gadget, on a device, if you want to download the books and read them that way, that's absolutely fine. All I care about is that you have the stories, because your essays will be responding to these novels. On the syllabus, you will also see a breakdown of points. Obviously, the more points you have, the higher grade you end up with at the end of the semester. I do have attendance points, and I know it's sort of unusual considering we're not meeting in a classroom like I prefer, but meeting online. And so as long as you are doing your work and you are submitting it by the due dates, that shows me that you are actively participating with the class, and that gets you your attendance points. You will also see that there will be a handful of 5-point reading quizzes. These are really easy. I'm just going to put the questions online and you're just going to shoot me the answers only. They are only 5 questions per quiz, and as long as you do the reading, you should be just fine. Now I know those sound like they are very low value, but by the time we get to the end of the semester, those quiz points start to add up. So even if you miss one or if you bomb one, you're still going to be okay. Think of those as insurance points. Now obviously the more points you have on those quizzes, the better you do throughout the semester. That's going to help you either lock in the grade you've got, or in some cases could even bump you up. So as small as they are, do take them seriously. In the syllabus you will see a pair of glasses next to each new theory that we're going to be talking about. Now for each of the theories, you are going to have to write a 1-paragraph response to the article that goes with that theory. So 6 literary theories, 6-paragraph projects. They're just a simple 1-page response to the reading, just to help you understand it and make sense of it. You're going to be responding each time to the same series of questions that are attached to the end of your syllabus. So the very last page contains the questions that you will be answering each time we open up a brand new theory. Now don't worry about that for now. We're going to talk more about that later, but those are very informal paragraphs. As long as you turn them in and they're thorough and complete, you're going to get the credit. There's no wrong answer, because if you're confused about what you read, you can tell me that in your paragraph. But don't worry, before the first one is due, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. I'll even put up a sample on Canvas, so there'll be no mystery about what you need to be doing. Obviously, the big money maker here, all the big points are tied up to your essays. We will have 4 essays throughout the semester. Each one is attached to a different reading. And then at the end of the semester, you will have a final where you are going to watch your favorite movie, your favorite old, worn, familiar movie, and you're going to run it through one of the 6 filters that you've learned about, and hopefully you will be able to see it in a brand new way. And that's what your final will be about, is to describe the movie and what do you see when you run it through one of these filters. Again, that's a long ways off. Don't worry about that. We're going to talk about that in greater detail when we get closer to it. But I thought that would be a fun way to really sort of put together everything, the reading and the writing skills that you've picked up over the semester. As far as your work goes, just so you know, I do accept late work. Sometimes things happen. You get into accidents. Maybe you're just stressed. Maybe you're overwhelmed and you're struggling with a project. That's happened. Some projects might be easier to you than others, and you might find yourself at that 0 hour still struggling to get the work done. If that happens, don't give up. Don't just not hand anything in and take a 0, because that's going to hurt your grade and that could potentially stop you from passing the course. Instead, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you, and I like to help. Some students think that if they reach out to the professors that they're bugging them. No, it's why we're here. It's part of our job. I love this stuff, and I want you to love it too. I want you to care about it. So please, please, don't be shy about reaching out for help, even if it's the last minute. I will still take late work. Just so you know, though, that late work will be deducted 1 point for each day that it is late after the due date. So if you turn it in 3 days later, it's going to be subtracted by 3 points. That doesn't sound like much, but if you're kind of right on the border of a certain grade, that could drop you down. So really try hard to get your work in on time. But if you can't, we'll talk about it. We'll figure something out. Now, obviously, you don't have to worry about being late to class since we're all quarantined right now. The trade-off for that, though, is making sure your work gets in on time. If you don't, if you are sort of habitually late, if it happens all the time, I'm going to sort of treat that as if these were classroom tardies. So you don't want to do that too often, because that will impact your grade, and it could get to the point where I might have to reach out to you personally and just ask you if you're sure you're able to complete the course. So those deadlines are very important. It's a good life skill to get into if you have a habit of procrastinating and being late with things. Let's work on that, me and you. Because this is a course about developing writing, and I want you to do well, and I want you to enjoy the process, you have a chance to redo your first 3 essays. So let's say you get a D on essay number 1, and you know you could do better. You will have a week to revise and resubmit your paper to me for more points. And that goes for, again, the first 3 essays. Maybe you get D's on all 3 and you need to rewrite all 3. Doesn't matter, but you have that opportunity for the first 3 essays only. That's because by the time we get to essay number 4 and the final, you really should have a good grasp on what I'm expecting, what I'm looking for, and how to piece your essays together. Something else that's very important to mention to you is you are responsible for dropping the course if you decide you don't want it anymore. So after the first week or 2, you decide this I can't handle this, or this isn't what I wanted. Make sure that you go through the proper steps online of dropping yourself from the course. I'm not going to do that for you. What happens is, if you just disappear on me, you still stay on my class attendance list. You're on my roster. So at the end of 16 weeks, I have to assign a grade to everybody. And even if you stop showing up in week 1, but your name is still there, I have to give you a grade, and you're not going to like what you get. So if you decide to drop, you got to do the extra little footwork, or finger work in this case, and get yourself dropped properly so you don't end up with a bad grade that you didn't deserve. The single most important thing I can say to you, the mistake you want to avoid at all costs, is plagiarism. Right? The worst thing you can do when you get behind the wheel of a car is be intoxicated. Well, in English, the worst thing you can do in a writing course is plagiarize work. That's our number one greatest sin, and I will eviscerate your soul if I catch you. I would rather see your honest work, even if you're kind of embarrassed, above something that's stolen and not yours. That's just wildly inappropriate, and it's it's comparable to a crime in college. So don't do it. As easy as the internet has made it to copy people, the internet has also made it very, very easy for me to catch. And if I suspect it, I start hunting for it. I'm like a shark who smells blood in the water. And I'm not going to lie to you, there's a part of me that kind of likes that. I like going on the hunt if I sniff it out. So please don't plagiarize. And also, when you submit your work on Canvas, it has a little feature where it scans your work to make sure that you didn't copy anything from an online source. So not only will I be on the hunt, but Canvas itself will be looking for plagiarized work. Just don't do it. You know what you need to say, just say it in your own way. I had a student once who copied the work of another student. There was this girl who was really, really desperate, I guess, and she decided, of all people, to copy off of an essay written by a former gang member named Raphael, who I absolutely loved. He's one of my all-time favorite students. And he was changing his life. He was reformed, you know, kind of transitioning into a brand new life for himself, a much healthier, happier life. But he still had some of the old habits. And when he spoke, he would end every sentence with the phrase "and shit." So he'd walk into a room and be like, "It's hot and shit." You know, it's just his quirk. It's the way he spoke. And when he wrote essays, he did the same thing in his writing. We were reading Frankenstein at the time, and he wrote in his essay, "Victor Frankenstein is the real villain and shit." So I went through his essay and I just kept circling all the shits. Well, this girl who panicked decided to copy his essay. And not only did this bonehead copy his essay, she also threw in his little shits. And instantly I knew what she had done. I mean, thank God Raphael actually... Thank God he spoke the way he did, because he made it very, very easy for me to catch. So, long story short, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Before we end today, our little greetings here, my introduction to the course, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I've been here at Mount SAC for 13 years, and you might be able to see on your screen here some of my favorite things, my favorite sport, my favorite book, my favorite movie. That's my house at Halloween. I set up a big pirate display. Down below there is a picture of me. I spent the night at a haunted prison in Ohio. That was a birthday gift to me. And I was kind of joking how scared I was, but once it got dark and we were locked in, diarrhea everywhere. I was scared to death. These are some of my favorite TV shows. When I'm not reading and when I'm not grading work, you can generally find me sitting on my couch watching one of these shows, and hopefully you see one of your favorites in there. I don't know if any of you are Impractical Joker fans, but I am Team Sal. I don't know if you're with me, but I hope you are. When you get into my car, this is the music that you will hear me singing at the top of my lungs. I think I'm an old man in a young body. Well, I shouldn't say young body. I'm an old man in a starting to get old body. I love the 50s and 60s. Those are my heroes right there, and that's what you would be listening to if you got into my car. I don't know why you get into my car. And these four things here, these creatures, are my children. They are in elementary school through high school. We adopted them when they were very, very little. My youngest was just a baby at the time, and we've become a very, very tight and close family. They are my life, my blood, and as annoying as they are, I can't imagine life without them. I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to cover the main ideas, our main goals. If you're not used to taking online classes, it's okay. I'm not used to really doing it this way myself. I miss being in the classroom and playing games and doing activities and giving my program to you the best way I know how. Obviously, we are in a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. We are in a major, major crisis. And so that changed everything. So I have to sort of walk back some of the things that I'm used to doing in order to give my program to you this way. But it's going to be okay. We're just going to create 1 or 2 goals for ourselves each week. That way it won't feel too overwhelming. For the most part, you will only be writing or you will only be reading. Only a few times will that overlap depending on the schedule. But I very much understand that some of you might be nervous about this, and again, I'm no expert in this. I'm doing the best I can and feeling my way through the dark right along with you, but we're going to get through this just fine. I know this feels live, but it's not. And if you need to talk to me directly, my email is on the syllabus. It's just ttolliver@mountsac.edu. I'm an email away if you have any questions. In fact, if you send me a question, and it's a good one that I think would help everyone, I'll send out a message so everybody gets that. Please, 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 don't be shy about asking questions. I promise you, if you're wondering something, there are 5 other people wondering the same thing you are. There are no dumb questions. I would never laugh at you to your face. Just kidding, I won't laugh at you. I'm here to support you. That is part of the job I probably like the best. So don't be shy. You're not bugging me. You're not taking up my time. In fact, as we go into this week, a couple of things I want to mention to you that you need to do this week if you're going to stay in the class. Number 1, at the top of the syllabus, you will see this weird message that you need to text to number 81010. That's going to get you into the Remind system so I can send out text messages to you. Now, you can't respond to me. I would rather you email me with personal stuff. But Remind is a great way for me to get right into your phones with important messages or reminders. I won't abuse it. I won't bug you with it, I promise. But it's a really good tool in case I need to change an assignment around or send out maybe a response to a question I got from someone that I thought would help everybody. So do sign up for that if you're going to stay in the course. And the other thing is make sure and get that first reading done. We're going to start with the monkey's paw, and there will be a set of questions for you. You're just going to pick one question and send it to me through Canvas, and basically that's going to help me take roll. So do make sure you get that in by the end of the week, because anyone who doesn't, I am going to drop you. So if you meant to stay in the class but you forgot to do the assignment, don't do that. This is the moment more than any other to get your work on time, because I'm going to use this week's little mini project to show me who is staying in the class so I can possibly make room for someone else. Alright, my friends, that is it. I just wanted to put this out here and meet you, go over the course, kind of show you my interests and my loves in life. I cannot wait to work with you, and I am so blessed that I get to share my interests with you and have grown-up conversations about these things that I love, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. It's going to be a good semester. We're going to get through this just fine. We're going to fulfill those goals you need. I want to make you a stronger writer, a stronger reader, and I think I found some really simple and maybe even fun ways to really make sure that happens for you. So go ahead and take a look at Canvas, see what's coming up for the next week. I will post new content and new assignments every weekend, usually Sunday afternoons, for sure by Sunday evenings. And you will have the rest of that week to get some projects done. Other projects will have longer deadlines. But you'll find everything you need posted every Sunday night for the rest of this semester. So if you need anything, do not hesitate to email me, and I will see you very soon. Again, welcome to 1A. Can't wait to get started. I'll see you later.